Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial. And today, my guest is the beautiful and very smart sidereal astrologer Karasi Atasio to lead us through the month of June, first collectively, and then for each of the 12 signs, where Karasi looks at the sidereal and tropical, Western and Vedic as we know them, he should say for both signs. And Krasi finally has some very good news for us for June.
Thank
Hello,
you,
Krasi.
Maya. Your very sweet introduction. Yes, yes, June is very interesting. We have two finally visible benevolent planets, Jupiter and Venus, become visible. First, let's one by one. Venus is
Well,
now, yes,
so Venus disappeared a while ago, a month ago or
yeah,
something,
a couple
Jupiter
months
a month
ago.
ago. And
Then,
and we saw the escalation of the conflicts around the world because Venus is peace, Jupiter is benevolence, forgiveness, and we saw kind of a couple April, May quite tense as well, at least on the political scene around. But you're saying there is good news now.
well, yes, we always have the benevolent and malefic planets. Good news because finally we missed Venus for such a long time. Now she becomes visible. She is now in Taurus until 13th of June. So Venus is already in Sidereal. I say Sidereal because this is the astronomical placement, like what we really see on the
The
sky.
actual constellations behind. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, sidereal astrology uses the actual constellations, and they're called the same names like what we use in the West, which is the 12 signs, but they're not the constellations. The 12 signs are seasonal, like Aries is the spring and so on. So that's the
Yes.
difference. The names are the same. That's why it might be confusing. They have similar energies, but a kind of a deeper, the sidereal is kind of deeper, more spiritual, and so on.
Yes, the actual exactly. This is so simple. Like what you see above, this is what you see in the chart. Really very simple to describe it. So yes, Venus is in the actual Taurus where she'll be until mid-June. And people think, oh, what wonderful opportunity. We can use it for new financial beginnings, for marriage. Not yet. Because in order to do that, you need Venus to be visible, which is doing on the 29th of June. 29th of June, just last day of
The
June.
very end. So
Yeah,
don't get married before 29th
wait,
of June.
indeed. And she's becoming visible in Gemini in the very last degree, 29-degree Gemini, very near Pollux, one of the two great twins. It is most probably Pollux is representing, we have in the Babylonian mythology the two great twins, Gemini represented by Gilgamesh, the king of, I think, Uruk, thousands years ago, and Enkidu. People who like can read the stories, very very fascinating. It's, I think, the first written novel that we found on the cuneiform. So there's a lot of astrology in the novel. One day, whether maybe we can really discuss this, only this, because it's full of astrology. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah.
All
So
ancient mythologies were astrology,
absolutely. Yeah.
constellations,
Not
and
only this one. Yes, indeed. So Gilgamesh is the very martial one, and Venus, of the two great twins, the martial, the warrior, because he's a warrior, he's king, one-third god. So this is where Venus will shine to start her new cycle. And Enkidu is the other twin. He's far, but he's the more spiritual, the more connected to nature. He's another story. So Venus becomes visible with these martial degrees. I don't see this as bad, but this is, yeah, she gets the, she's an evening star, and yet she'll get of these martial qualities, I believe, because the beginning of her cycle will describe her whole cycle of the next 8 months minimum. She will
who
carry
could
this.
this could it be like because it's a warrior star that Venus is becoming visible next to? Could it be, and Venus is connected to peace and gentleness? Could it be like softening of the war
Well,
situations or some kind of negotiations or?
Could be, but we don't forget the detail that the fixed stars have a little bit higher hierarchy, of course, than the planets. So Venus will get from the energy of Gilgamesh, but this is energy of ambition. It is not necessarily warlike aggressive energy. Gilgamesh was very smart. He would make a ritual in order to see dream, for example. His mother was one goddess. That's why he had the DNA, if you want, of the god of a goddess. So he's not a bad character at all. Very interesting. I don't see her like getting warlike energy necessarily. Could be ambition, could be this strength, desire to live, to manifest, to conquer, if you want. Not necessarily warlike, but I'm just telling you where she becomes visible. This is important detail. And yes, like you say, Gemini is all about communication, of course. She is strong in Gemini, being in her own triplicity, but she's an evening star, so it will be very interesting. It will be energy of the evening star Venus. Evening star, when she is very much more about romance, more about, yes, art. But still, this is Venus, and her benevolence, we cannot deny. To be beautiful, Aquarius. Very good to watch it as an evening star on the evening sky. Once you see the sun setting around 29th, week before, week after, it's good to watch it, because this is blessing. It's really blessing to watch Venus. Now,
Might be good if anyone wants to start a business connected to communication, connected to Mercury, Gemini, and this Gemini trade of some sort as well. Any social media as well.
Very. On the 12th of June, Jupiter is becoming visible. Again, in which degrees, where you have Perseus the warrior, very near these degrees, Jupiter becomes visible.
Jupiter becomes visible.
Yeah, on the 12th. This is
on
also
the which day? On the
12th of June.
So good things start happening already from like 10 days into June. We're going to start new beginnings with Jupiter becoming visible, the birth of new inspiration, new meaning in life, new vision for some of us.
Yes, absolutely. And Jupiter is becoming visible also when the moon is waxing, very new, very young moon. So quite benevolent. This also, I said Mars. Mars is entering, he is visible, Mars is visible. He's entering Aries on the 2nd of June. To be there the whole month and to be there until 13th of June. Then he enters Taurus, July, sorry. We discussed this in July. I want to say to people what I find important for month of June, some dates of a little bit of attention in relation to the entrance passage of Mars into Aries. Because you see, Wada, he rose for the first time, heliacally he became visible in Pisces. And we discussed this with you in 2 previous videos. We spoke a lot about this, how when he became visible in around the timing of the Second World War, he brought some peace in some regions, not the all regions which were affected by the Second World War. He became now visible in Pisces. This is not necessarily bringing peace. It is more like subtle aggression, which can later on come on the surface, be visible. My a little bit of concern is that when we take into consideration the beginning of the cycle of Mars, which is not very peaceful, that now when he enters Aries, this is not necessarily timing of peace. Then we'll be seeing really their plans. This is what I think. But I rely very much, I'm very positive, and I certainly rely on the fact that finally Venus becomes visible, like you say, maybe she softens the tone, the negotiations and things she may bring, and also the fact that Jupiter will be finally visible. In addition, the most important transit, Uranus, 18th of June. See, I forgot to tell you in the beginning. Uranus entering Taurus on 18th of June.
The sidereal.
Major for the world, because yes, thanks God, Jupiter will be there to soften, the energy a little bit, like to soften the passage of Uranus so that he's not very sharp, because Uranus himself is meaning change. He means change. And it will be, big thing. Good that Jupiter will be there already visible, thanks God. Uranus is entering. So I think we will see some movement around the changes which are taking place in the world around after mid-June in particular. They will be related to, we will see more from the war theater, unfortunately, more, but then we see a little bit of softening effects of Jupiter and Venus, and the presence of Uranus will also be bringing some changes.
It seems like there's a lot of new energy there.
Yeah.
Venus, new cycle being reborn, Jupiter being reborn, Mars entering into the sign constellation of new beginnings, and Uranus entering a new sidereal constellation. We saw with Uranus entering tropical Taurus 2017 how the whole financial system has started changing, CBDCs, the whole crypto, and the big shift financially. Now, Uranus entering the constellation of Taurus, it gets deeper. Now it gets deeper. Now it's become more visible because it's the actual visible stars. And let's say it becomes more tangible for us as a reality over the next 7 years.
Exactly, 7 years, big thing. Just very quickly to say, before we look at the 12 ascendants, to people, the important dates of Mars, because he enters on the 2nd of June, but then on the 9th and the 10th, he's passing through this constellation where you have the two fishes tied in a knot, This is timing where things are always a little bit stuck, tight, So it's not good for your new beginnings. You have to watch out a little bit. 12th of June, he's in the jaws. We can hear not good speech. We will be also in our personal lives. We have to watch out what we speak so that we don't get involved in disputes or arguments and stuff. 12 to 17 to 24th, these are the more aggressive dates because he's in the horns, also to watch out how
Of
we
the
can.
ram? The horns of the ram? Okay.
Exactly.
Is it horny energy as well? Horny?
Yes, of course. It is also more aggressive energy. Depends how people perceive it, how it's manifested in
But
our
then
life.
Venus starts rising just around when Mars finishes passing through the horns. So there's softening at the end and resolution.
This for sure, yes, this for sure, because yeah, her energy is just very beautiful, and by then she will be already, yes, she will already be in actually she'll be already in Gemini. She'll already be in Gemini to sextile, even better. To sextile the Martial energy. There will be Mars sextile Venus at that time, which is a good one. He loves Venus too. They mythologically at one point they're connected, husband and wife.
So it's a good month to begin new things, maybe towards the end when Venus starts becoming visible, Jupiter's become visible. All right. And Mars and the martial energy will give the motivation. Good to hear we have such period.
Yes, well, the times that we live in general are very interesting. We cannot really say bad or good. It's just complex. Everything is, you cannot describe it with one word, really.
Oh, by the way, if anyone would like a reading with Krasi is offering promotional reading. I forgot what it was. We'll go with it through the video, but it will be one of her personal readings. I'll put the link below. Every time Krasi does a video, offers for the next 2 weeks for our viewers a special discounted price for a reading with her using Babylonian astrology, sidereal actual constellations, and it's very different than Western astrology. It's not so much psychological as it's like you see whole pictures in the sky. You were born when a constellation of the raven was rising. What could it be? The Pleiades was high in the sky. You're a born witch, with occult powers. So it's a very different kind of astrology with actual constellations if you'd like to do a reading. Maybe we can do one of those fixed star readings that you have, or the Babylonian zodiac.
Oh no, it's always very interesting. We can show that one time, yeah.
Okay.
So saying this, maybe we can do already
Yes.
12 descendants. Yeah.
The-
Wada, just to remind to people again, people who are new and haven't seen us before, we look from the two perspectives so that they understand. We use the sidereal. When we start with sidereal Aries or moon in Aries, we know this will be most probably tropical Taurus. If depends which system you prefer to follow. So sidereal Aries, or if you don't know the time of your birth, derive the horoscope from the moon sign. So sidereal Aries, tropical Taurus.
Or even the sun sign. For me, the sun sign works amazing.
Works a little bit differently, but they're all important. Ascendant, moon, sun sign are the.
They can all be the beginning of the chart, as we call it. Yeah.
So yes, for people who have sidereal ascendant Aries or tropical Taurus, yes, Mars will be from mid 12th of June on your ascendant. This is good. You can actually literally use this energy to, for important dates, for things that you want to do, that you didn't complete, that you want to, this is just a good energy for any activity, sports, everything, just everything can give you this drive to operate. Also, Saturn will be sextiling Mars on your ascendant to even make you very practical. And then all these planets which become visible, Jupiter on your second house, certainly prepare for important financial changes which can affect your influence in your work. This will be very, very important timing. Venus will bless communication, travel, communication with brothers and sisters. So June will not be bad for you. It will be quite interesting. And yes, use this good energy for practical reasons, for any activity that you want to do. And yes, prepare, because if Uranus entering Taurus, for important financial changes which are starting in after mid-June and will be very important for you. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Taurus or moon in Taurus, or for the tropical astrology, this is Gemini. Venus now is on your ascendant. She's leaving on the 13th, but she's giving you this subtle blessing because she's invisible. But she can bless art, she can bless senses, feelings, intuition, wisdom, working with spiritual practices and stuff. Jupiter will become visible also on the 12th of June, right on your ascendant. This is big blessing. 1 year he will be on your ascendant. This is great blessing. Jupiter on your ascendant, really. Yes, Saturn is squaring, we have to admit, from your 10th house, but still Jupiter is protecting you. Like if you had now some time of, how to say, stressful, Jupiter on the ascendant is softening just everything. In the meantime, Mars is on your 12th house. He can drive you to the, to the temple, to the esoteric, occultistic stuff. He may give you desire to, related to health, to take care of your own health. Use this energy this way. This will be the best thing to do. And personal changes are taking place for you, important ones, because of Uranus, who is also entering your ascendant. So prepare next year to be very changing for you, starting from mid June. And now let's look at people who have sidereal ascendant Gemini or moon in Gemini, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Cancer. Now for you, not to forget, Saturn is trining your ascendant. He will be doing this during the whole year. And Venus becomes visible in a trine with Saturn. This is good for you in terms of your personal plans, in terms of, well, communication, your education, studies, even work. This can be very benevolent. Venus becomes visible and is trined by Saturn. Financially, this can be very good in esoteric, from esoteric perspective. When they're related, they also give great results. In addition, Mars is on your 11th house. Depends how Mars is placed in your horoscope. Watch out a little bit. Be more attentive with children. Watch out a little bit for your financial circle. Make sure that you're balanced, in harmony. In addition, Jupiter will be 1 year on your 12th house. He becomes visible 12th of June, 1 year on your 12th house, and there he will be blessing your health. He will have very good role for you. He can even support your spiritual work, esoteric work. Very good will be for you to take care of people who are, poor, ill, sick. And Jupiter will give you great results. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Cancer or moon in Cancer, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this will be Leo for you. Now Mars is going to be in June on your 10th house, squaring your ascendant. This is strong energy, but Mars is fine, of course, in Aries, which he rules. This could be time where you will be very driven to your work, to maybe new projects, new creativity. Still, make sure that you're very harmonious, very practical, very wise. Saturn will help you with this practicality, the practical approach. Why say to watch out a little bit? Because depends on your Mars, how Mars is placed in your horoscope, then we will know what results he will be capable of giving you. Therefore, make sure that when you negotiate, when you have new projects, new plans, that you're very practical, very diplomatic, very careful, especially with superiors. In the meantime, Jupiter is in Taurus, your 11th house. He becomes visible on the 12th. He will bless children, your social life. He will bless your finances. This is very good. And Uranus is also entering on the 18th of June, your 11th house. Very important for your social circle, for your changes financially, and watch out, be attentive with children. But he will bring big financial changes for you related to your career. That's for sure. And they're starting after mid of June. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Leo or moon in Leo, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Virgo. For you, Mars will be on your 9th house. This is good. From there, he will be well benevolent for your drive to study, to travel. He can give you this healthy drive. Just make sure that you are very practical, careful, diplomatic. Saturn helps in that, like I told you. Also, Venus until 13th of June is in Taurus to support your work, to bring peace in your work. Jupiter on the 12th becomes visible again on your 10th house. He will be very much supporting the peace in your career, in your work, to restore peace if you want. He's good in your career place. And on the 18th, Uranus enters the same place. Big changes he will give you. He can totally shift your interests, your goals, your approach. He can bring big changes in your career place. After mid-June, I think he will give you big changes. Venus becomes visible on your 11th house. Financially, she will be supportive. In terms of social circle, she can support your children. She will have a very good role on your 11th house. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Virgo or moon in Virgo, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Libra. Now for you, the big changes happening in Taurus are taking place on your 9th house. Which big changes? I mean, the presence of Jupiter, his first visibility in Taurus, and the entrance of Uranus into Taurus. So they will be trining your ascendant. So this is harmonious change.
Yes. Did you say? Okay, yes, that's sidereal Virgo, yes?
Sidereal Virgo, tropical Libra.
Tropical Libra, thank you.
No problem. So yes, they will be trining your Virgo ascendant or tropical Libra. And this trine is, I see it as protection, because the trine from the ninth house is something very divine. This is very divine placement in the horoscope. And you will have this blessing for 7 years. It means you will go through changes, most probably related to your spiritual interests, new studies. You suddenly may decide to study astrology because Uranus is ruling astrology. You may suddenly change totally shift your interests. You may travel, you may move to another country. All this will be happening gradually starting from 18th of June. The first appearance of Venus is on your 10th house. This is good because this way she will bless your career, and in the meantime, she will be trined by Saturn in your 6th house. Health-wise, this is fine. Your routine, may also be blessed and changed in relation to this particular trine which will be formed. And Mars on the 8th house, well, this can make you very driven to esoteric knowledge, esoteric stuff, hidden knowledge. This can be give results. It depends how Mars is placed in your horoscope when it comes to finances, but finances from unexpected sources, different than the usual. But this really depends on the placement of your Mars in your own horoscope. And now I will be looking at people who have sidereal ascendant Libra or moon in Libra, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Scorpio. Now for you, Mars will be the whole month of June on your 7th house. Well, depends how Mars is placed in your chart. This can be harmonious or not very harmonious. Therefore, be harmonious, be patient, be loving with partners, with your partner in general when you negotiate with business partnerships and so on. Then the passage of Uranus into Taurus is happening on your 8th house. Also, Jupiter becomes visible on your 8th house. This can have impact on finances for you, but also finances via unexpected sources, insurances, inheritances, whatnot, just name it, unexpectedly arriving sources. So Jupiter, that will also give help, and Uranus will bring the change. In the meantime, Venus becomes visible in your 9th house. This could be very benevolent for your studies, for choices of spiritual science, and so. But be a little bit harmonious in your romantic life, in your relationships. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Scorpio or moon in Scorpio, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Sagittarius. Now, Mars is ruling you, and of course Pluto, but Mars, your ruler, will be in the month of June passing through your 6th house. 6th house is about your routine, yes, also enemies, yes, about health. So you may be very driven to this particular subject, to work, this particular, even masculine work, to sports. You may be very driven to the topic of health. You may be very driven to, to change your routine. And Saturn with his 6th house will help you. He'll be very practical in a way. In the meantime, the big change for you will come with the entrance on 18th of June of Uranus into your 7th house. You may need to be particularly diplomatic, careful, loving in your romantic life, also with other types of relationships, agreements. He may bring changes there gradually, not immediately. Gradually, because he will stay in Uranus 7 years. And Jupiter is also in the 7th house to soften these energies. In the meantime, Venus becomes visible on your 8th house, and this will be happening. She becomes visible end of June, yes, but she will give blessing on health, on some types of finances of your partner. She can also bless health. She can bless your sleep too, because of the nature of the 8th house. She can help you solve issues with fears, anxieties, and so. So her presence and appearance in your 8th house can actually be very benevolent. And we look at Sagittarius, sidereal, or moon in Sagittarius, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Capricorn. Now, for you, Jupiter, your ascendant ruler, will be on your sixth house, becoming visible to bless your health, routine, to resolve some conflicts if you want. He also will be followed on 18th of June. He will be followed by Uranus, who will be changing your job routine, even your job, your approach to health. You may need to be responsible for your health, more responsible for your health, because Uranus will be shifting your routine, and you, very good for you will be to be very educated, to become more interested in health matters. Saturn and Mars are forming sextile from your third to sixth house. This is fine for creative study, creative knowledge, for communication matters. This can be actually quite benevolent. This can bring practicality in making money, let's say, in negotiating, in travel. So this can be something quite benevolent, but in general, be a little bit responsible for your health so that the passage of Uranus is harmonious for you. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Capricorn or moon in Capricorn, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this will be Aquarius. Now you know already, because this is not new, Saturn is in Aquarius, sidereal, your second house, and he will be there until late December 2025. He's already shifting, I'm sure, your finances, family relationships. He's very important for you. Certainly, he brings you changes. Mars will be traveling to your fourth house. Yes, this can be benevolent for housing, for house matters. Can be practical to do renovation in your house, let's say. Venus becomes visible in your sixth house. She will bless disputes. She can resolve conflicts for you. And Jupiter and Uranus are doing their work for you in your fifth house. Fifth house is the house of the good fortune. This is fine. This can bring again further financial changes. This can bring changes related to your creative interests, creative studies. In the meantime, be a little bit attentive, careful with children. But in general, this placement of Jupiter and Uranus is lucky because they will be in a lucky house. But financial changes and changes in your creative interests, in the study interests, they will bring to you most probably. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Aquarius or moon in Aquarius, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this is Pisces. For you, Saturn is on your ascendant until late December 2025. Now depends how Saturn is placed in your horoscope. Then we see how good or challenging the results of his passage through Uranus could be. But in general, the changes that he is bringing you are already known to you, and they are big, and he continues until 1 year more, until end of 2025. I think you're going through a very important period of your life, important cycle. Saturn will sextile Mars, who's traveling through your third house during the entire month of June. Mars can give you drive to travel, to study. Maybe he can help you reach and fix relationship with brothers and sisters, for example. He can make you choose a good study for yourself. Uranus is entering Taurus on 18th of June. Jupiter will be there, becoming visible, and they will be shaping your fourth house, relationship with parents, property, real estate, relocation. This can have impact on your career. All this will be influenced, but not immediately. Like I told you, Uranus will be quite long in Taurus, but you already feel his presence almost immediately because wherever he is, he brings the change. Venus becomes visible on your fifth house. This is fine financially, fine for your children, for creative study. She can give you the muse to create something beautiful. So she will have her beautiful role for you in your 5th house, the house of the good fortune. And now we look at Pisces, people who have sidereal Pisces or moon in Pisces or tropical Aries. Your Jupiter ascendant ruler is in your 3rd house, becomes visible there. He sextiles your ascendant. He trines your descendant. You already experience changes and you will experience changes through the whole year because all eclipses are taking place on your ascendant descendant. But Jupiter now will soften this by sextiling, by making good aspects in your chart. But yes, you are certainly going to change in your choices, in your spiritual awakening. Oh, this is very important. Uranus will also support these changes related to your studies, communication, even choices of a travel destination, all these. He can make you choose totally other study, languages and whatnot, astrology. In addition, Mars is traveling through your 2nd house. He can make you driven, to finances, but again, depends how Mars is placed in your horoscope. You make sure that you're balanced, that you make careful choices. Venus becomes visible in your 4th house. She will bless mother, parents, your home. She will bring blessing in if you do, let's say, business with homes, with real estate, and she can bring blessing on your home and on your career and bring peace, bring the peace. Yes. So this was briefly about the 12 ascendants to give you an idea what these main transits can bring to your lives.
Thank you so much, Krasi. Very succinct and to the point again. You bring us
Thank
good
you,
news
Lada.
this month. May it be joyful, peaceful, the birth of peace, Venus, the birth of opportunities, benevolence, and internal and external wealth. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Again, if you want to contact Krasi, I'll put the link below in the description where she's offering a promotional reading. Thank you. Have a blessed June.
Thank you. Ладно, изчакай секунда.
А?
Изчакай ме като затваряш.
I don't know.